What's going on, guys? We got a crazy episode to go over today. Absolutely insane. I don't know if you remember, but a while ago we did an episode on the sweetheart deal they were trying to give Hunter Biden. Basically giving him two misdemeanors for things they would have thrown us in jail for and locked the key. Okay? Things have kind of changed here ever since that federal judge saw the wording in that deal and was like, I'm not putting my name on this. And now he's got about 9 different federal counts, federal criminal counts that he's going against right now. Okay. I would say this is definitely a win for the average person. Okay. Because people in this situation, his dad's the president. He's gotten away with basically murder. He's gotten away with everything except murder, it seems like, guys. Okay, so we're gonna go into it. I got a video too from Breaking Points. We got Sagar with Breaking Points that goes into real good detail and actually shows some of the documents that were shown that shows the breakdown of the money he spent on everything except his taxes. Like, he had $1.4 million in taxes he didn't pay for in like a 3-year time frame. But he paid 6 figures worth of money on hookers and hotels and all this stuff, and even withdrew over $1 million in cash. Okay, guys. So again, we're gonna go over this because this is absolutely nuts. I didn't even know it was this detailed on how much he was getting away with. And he was about to just get 2 misdemeanors. Guys, we got to go into it. We got to get to the facts on this, all right? But hey, welcome to Getting to the Facts, guys. Again, I'm your host, Andrew Curiel. Thanks for joining me. Really appreciate you guys. We're going to keep growing this thing. We're at 151 subscribers, and we're just going to keep doing what we do, all right? So I really appreciate all you. If we can just smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's get right into it, all right, guys? But we got this here from CNN because, you know, I got to be fair. Being an independent, I get it from everywhere. But when I go through this article, tell me if you don't hear the very biased way that they're trying to portray the facts. Okay, again, I just want the truth. I don't want the bias on either side of the aisle. Okay, but we're gonna go take a look at this. But from CNN, Hunter Biden faces 9 criminal charges in federal tax case. Hunter Biden has been charged in connection with a long-running Justice Department investigation into his taxes, the second criminal case that special counsel David Weiss has brought against President Joe Biden's son. The charges span 9 counts, including failure to file and pay taxes, evasion of assessment, and false or fraudulent tax return. CNN was first to report a new criminal case has been filed. According to the special counsel's team, Hunter Biden engaged in a 4-year scheme to not pay at least $1.4 million in taxes that he owed from 2016 through 2019. Though Hunter Biden did eventually pay his taxes from 2018, prosecutors allege that he included false business deductions in order to evade assessment of taxes to reduce the substantial tax liabilities he faced. Prosecutors also allege in the 56-page indictment that he subverted the payroll and tax withholding process of his own company by withdrawing millions of dollars outside of its payroll and tax withholding process. The president's son spent millions of dollars on an extravagant lifestyle rather than paying his tax bills, according to the indictment, which states that between 2016 and October 15th, 2020, the defendant spent this money on drugs, escorts and girlfriends, luxury hotels and rental properties, exotic cars, clothing, and other items of a personal nature. In short, everything but his taxes. The indictment also references Hunter Biden's 2021 memoir, Beautiful Things, in which he detailed some of his personal struggles with addiction and substance abuse. He was paid more than $140,000 related to the book from January through October 15, 2020, according to the indictment. Hunter Biden's attorney, Ab Lowell, said in a statement that based on the facts and the law, if Hunter's last name was anything other than Biden, the charges in Delaware and now California would not have been brought. First, U.S. Attorney Weiss bowed to Republican pressure to file unprecedented and unconstitutional gun charges to renege on a non-prosecution resolution. Now, after 5 years of investigating with no new evidence and 2 years after Hunter Biden paid his taxes in full, the U.S. Attorney has piled on 9 new charges when he had agreed just months to resolve this matter with a pair of misdemeanors. Guys, this is not... that right there is the bias with CNN. Okay, there's no way that you can say, oh, well, but he paid his taxes in full. And when we read this article more, you'll see it was from a loan from a friend. A loan from a friend. So he's still having to pay back his taxes, but from a friend now. Okay, like, come on. And no new evidence? No new evidence? What are you talking about? They were about to get away with murder, basically, by getting him this sweetheart deal with just misdemeanors on two charges related to taxes. But they added so much weird language to protect him from future prosecution that the federal judge was like, hell no, we ain't going to do that. And now we're finally going to get a little bit of justice, or at least we're on the path to finally getting some justice when it comes to this. This is just absolutely insane, guys. If we did any of this, even just half of what Hunter Biden did, they would throw us in jail for decades. Decades. Like, come on. This should not be a split thing. Like, both sides of the aisle should really come to understanding. There should be nobody, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, to be able to get away with something like this with no prosecution at all. Like, this is insane. So let's get back to it. And let's see here. In a news release announcing the charges Thursday, the Justice Department said Hunter Biden could face a maximum of 17 years in prison if convicted of the charges. The case had been close to being resolved in July when a plea deal fell apart. The new tax case stems from Hunter Biden's lucrative overseas business dealings, including his involvement with Ukrainian energy company Burisma and a Chinese private equity fund, which are at the center of House Republicans' impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden. Now, the president will be campaigning for a second White House term and fighting a Republican impeachment, while his son fights to avoid prison in 2 criminal cases. According to court filings from the now defunct plea deal, Hunter Biden repeatedly missed IRS deadlines to pay his federal taxes on time and eventually owed about $2 million to the government. He paid the money back in 2021 with a loan from a friend. Come on. Federal prosecutors have been scrutinizing Hunter Biden's finances since 2018, and Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney David Weiss was designated special counsel in August. The probe appeared to be winding down this summer when Hunter Biden agreed to plead guilty to 2 tax misdemeanors, and prosecutors would recommend no jail time. They also agreed that a gun charge will be dropped in 2 years if he stayed out of legal trouble. But both proposed deals collapsed after scrutiny from a federal judge and disagreements over the fine print. Then Weiss indicted Hunter Biden in September on 3 charges related to his purchase of a gun from a shop in Delaware in 2018. At a time, prosecutors say he was an illegal drug user, which he was, especially if you look at his book that he published. He has pleaded not guilty in the gun possession and false statements case. Hunter Biden's attorney previously accused Weiss of bending to political pressure from Republicans and said that his actions present a grave threat to our system of justice. Which, hold on, full stop right there, guys. Full stop right there. That is not what is threatening our justice system. You trying to give Hunter Biden 2 misdemeanors related to his taxes when he bought a gun while falsifying his statements about using illegal drugs, and he threw the gun away in a dumpster by a school, like within a radius of a school that's illegal. Just based on that, it's prison for anybody if your name is not Biden or some other high-end, powerful person. This is absolute insanity to me, guys. I can't be the only one that thinks this. Like, please, this is not a bipartisan issue. Like, both sides should really be able to agree, like, yeah, this should never be allowed. We should never allow this to happen. I don't care if the last name is Trump. I don't care if the last name is Biden. I don't care if the last name is Bush. Nobody should be able to get away with this. This is nuts. This is just showing how corrupted our judicial system has gotten due to just How much power do you have and how much money do you have determines on if you're going to get away with things that the average person would never get away with in the court of law. They just never would. Never would, guys. So we're going to watch, it's about like 4 or 5 minutes because I want to make sure we see all the details that Saagar brings up when he's talking about this. But he gets into real detail about the charges and even shows us the breakdown of the money he took out through ATM or cash withdrawals, the money he spent on hookers, hotels, everything. So you see it. You tell me, put it in the comments. Let me know what you think, how crazy this is. But this is blowing my mind. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Dealing. So let's go ahead and put the indictment up there on the screen. And I'm going to go ahead and read directly from this. Quote, the defendant engaged in a 4-year scheme to not pay at least $1.4 million in self-assessed federal taxes that he owed for the tax years 2016 through 2019, from in or about January of 2017 through in or about October 15th, 2020. And to evade the assessment of taxes for the tax year 2018, he filed false returns in or about February of 2020. So there are 3 felonies that have been charged, 6 misdemeanors from failure to pay taxes and failure to file taxes. The indictment also lays out something very important around these business dealings. Hunter Biden hauled in more than $7 million in total gross income from foreign business dealings involving Ukrainian, Romanian, and Chinese entities. Quote, at times relevant to this indictment, the defendant served on the board of a Ukrainian industrial conglomerate and a Chinese private equity fund. He negotiated and executed contracts and agreements for business and legal services that paid millions of dollars of compensation to him and or his domestic corporations. Now, the single most important piece of the indictment, I believe, is this. Let's go and put it up there on the screen. What you can see here very clearly is that Hunter Biden's salary from Burisma, the Ukrainian energy company of which he was put on the board of while President Obama was president, cut his salary in half just 2 months after Donald Trump took office. Let me read this. Quote, in or around April of 2014, the defendant joined the board of the director of Burisma Holdings Limited Company, a Ukrainian industrial conglomerate. Burisma agreed to pay the defendant an annual salary of approximately $1 million to be paid in monthly disbursements. In March of 2017, Burisma reduced his compensation to approximately $500,000 a year, and he continued to serve on the board of directors until or around April of 2019. As a result, he received a total of $1 million in 2016, which then dropped to $600,000 in 2017 and continued to drop between 2018 and 2019. So very clearly, the vast majority of his income from the Ukrainian energy company came while Joe Biden was vice president of the United States and who was in charge of the Ukraine portfolio. Now, furthermore, and this gets to Hunter's own personal conduct, the Department of Justice was not sparing whatsoever in detailing the vast sums of money that Hunter spent on illicit activities. So I'm going to go ahead and read some of this. And, if you got kids in the room or anything like that, I would recommend that you take them out. So these are the descriptions of the things that Hunter Biden, according to the IRS and the Department of Justice, did instead of paying his taxes. He withdrew a grand total of $1.6 million in cash. 1.6 million between 2016 and 2019. For payments to various women, he spent $683,000 in that same period. For clothing and accessories, $400,000. For what is described as, quote, adult entertainment, it's $188,000. Now, I have a question too, which is why is adult entertainment not lumped together with various women? And let's also be very clear here that the payments to, quote, various women were not necessarily girlfriends or any of that. They're described in the indictment as escorts and sex workers, all basically across the world, including and in Europe. There also was a very important point.
Guys, 1.6 million in cash withdrawals in 4 years. 1.6 million in just cash withdrawals. That's not even taking into account the money that he gave to women, which was hookers and escorts. That's not counting the hotels. That's not counting the rental cars and the rental properties that he rented. I mean, it's just this just shows you the hypocrisy right now. Like, this is it's not about race anymore in this country as much as it is about power and finances. How much money do you have and how much power does your family possess? That is what is depending on if you actually are going to get in trouble with the law in this country now. And honestly, we would have never seen this pop up, like this stuff really pop up, if Trump didn't run and get elected. He started pointing out the fake narratives and the biases that we're seeing from the establishment politicians and regular people. They're totally showing us now the hypocrisy that they have when it comes to this stuff, guys. And it should sicken you. It sickens me. Like, this is not the country that we had. I mean, it shouldn't be. And if this was happening behind closed doors this entire time, like before the age of social media and before just the internet age, if this was happening at this type of a rate for this long, man, no wonder we're on the decline now. No wonder we're on the decline now. We gotta fix this, guys. We gotta elect real populist people that are gonna vote on the behalf of the average American, and we gotta fix our justice system. And we gotta chop down how big our federal government is. Our federal government is way too big. We have so many departments in the federal government that we never voted on. We never wanted to be put in place. The establishment people that we keep voting for, they're the ones that keep adding more and more to the federal government. And when they add more departments to the federal government, guys, that just means there's more non-elected. That means the people did not vote for them. People that are put in so much power over the way this country goes. And that is what the problem is. This country was never supposed to have this big of a federal government. We were supposed to have a small but powerful federal government to protect the country, protect our citizens, stuff like that. But the real big size of our government should have been local, on the local level, the state level, the county level, not federal. Like, man, guys, I just don't want to lose our country, but it seems like we are on our way there and we aren't slowing down one bit. So again, we just got to wake people up. And I recommend to share this video with people that you think could use it when it comes to just seeing how crazy this stuff is. And not just this video, but any video that you come across or any type of article that you come across that shows the factual way that the world is going, and not even just the world, but the United States. Like, I care about where the world's going because it's really the same direction, but the United States is what is pushing this globalization forward. It really is. The elites in this whole entire world and are using the United States to push this globalism agenda. And it's going to be to the destruction of every person who values freedom. And that's the problem. Freedom, the freedom that we had in this country and still have for now, that is what gives hope to everyone across the world. So you let me know, guys. Put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. But I hope you have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you on that next video.